constant laws of physics, and I can't blame him.
I'm gonna die like a bloody s'more.
What? But uh-oh, the rabbit never actually saw Cyrus alive again. It was all hearsay. So they can't even really be sure that Cyrus is okay. That was the thesis of the whole mission, Rabbit. Will would like to dip out of Wonderland right now because he did a lot of crimes here and also hates it so bad. But Alice offers him something very valuable to convince him to stay and help her. She offers him a genie wish. Alice is Cyrus's master, and she carries around the 3 wishes she was granted as little red gems, like physical representations of her wishes. And she is determined to never make any of these wishes because A, genie wishes are very unpredictable, and B, using all 3 of these wishes would release Cyrus from her service and rebind him to the bottle she found him in, just waiting for another master to come pick him up. And she does not want that. Not for like selfish reasons where nobody else can have a genie, but because that's her fiance. That's her fiance, and she would very much like if he was not just randomly bound to a bunch of people's service forever and instead could walk around as free as they can get him in his current condition. The White Rabbit apparently heard that Cyrus was hiding out in the Mad Hatter's old house in Tulgey Woods, so that is where Will and Alice are going. Alice climbs up a tree to see if she can see the Mad Hatter's house with a better vantage point, but instead, while she's up there, runs into the Cheshire Cat, who's huge and spooky and voiced by Keith David, but pitched up. They got Keith David to voice the Cheshire Cat in their Wonderland show, and then pitched his voice up. Why get Keith David?
I'm a stranger, you're a stranger. Together we are strangers.
Whatever, the Cheshire Cat tries to kill and eat Alice.
It's more than an SUV. It's your Chevy Equinox EV, going further on full charge.
This is Judy and Pedro. They just bought their first home and are learning a lot.
Alice, while she climbed, ever see the Cheshire Cat again?
Where did I...
In our Wonderland show, Will
see
did
that
try
doesn't
to
go.
steal the wishes from Alice while she climbed the tree. Just take the little gems. But Alice tells him you can't actually steal a wish. That's not how it works. They have to be granted.
Okay.
You have to be the one that the genie gave the wish to, or that somebody else said you were allowed to have that wish. They can't just be taken like that. So now, they're good. They're square. He didn't actually steal the wishes, and they're gonna pretend he didn't even try. They continue on their way, and they find the Mad Hatter's house empty and abandoned. I mean, it's full of hats, but like, you get what I mean. There's no Cyrus, and there's no Mad Hatter. Yep, there's no Mad Hatter in this show. You may recall that in Once Upon a Time proper, the Mad Hatter, or Jefferson, was played by Sebastian Stan, who was a perfect sad boy girl dad. But Once Upon a Time in Wonderland came out in 2013, and the first Captain America movie came out in 2011. Sebastian Stan was not reprising his role for a Once Upon a Time spin-off show. The showrunners did still want to have a Mad Hatter and just recast the role, but the backlash to even the idea of that was so much that they simply don't have a Mad Hatter. You can't get Sebastian Stan, you just don't have a Mad Hatter. No Mad Hatter, no Cheshire Cat. This is a cool Wonderland show, guys. It's very, Wonderland feeling. So there's no Cyrus here, but what Alice does find is the magic necklace that represents her and Cyrus's entwined hearts on the ground. So she has a renewed faith that he is alive because he was wearing that necklace when he got knocked off the cliff. Will does not have this renewed faith. This man is a realist, quite possibly actually a pessimist, and he's so real for that. But Alice insists that when you love someone, you don't need proof that they're alive. You just know. Will does agree to keep traveling with her because he's a really good man and he cares about her. Or because he really wants that wish. It's up to you. And they walk off through Wonderland with some of the wildest CGI I've ever seen behind them. During this first leg of their adventure, Alice and Will were briefly separated from the White Rabbit, and in that time, he runs into the Red Queen on the road. He's working for her. The Red Queen brings the White Rabbit back to her castle, which is so cool. It's chess pieces. Her castle is chess pieces. The Red Queen's voice is kind of silly. and I'm obsessed with it. She calls everyone darling. She says Alice with almost a lisp. It's so particular and regal and also goofy as hell. I wish I could imitate it better because I'd never stop doing it.
Darlings, can I be honest with you? Your problems bore me.
And the Red Queen has another, more equal ally, and it's Jafar. Like Aladdin's Jafar. Like, I'm being so serious with you when I say a lot of this show is Aladdin. You're gonna have to get ready for that now. Aladdin himself, not in the show, but there's a lot of genie shenanigans. And we spend a lot of time in Agrabah. Jafar is so sexy. Also, pretty curly hair, lots of leather, cool snake staff, gold eyeliner, fun jewelry. Jafar threatens to kill the Red Queen, goes for the force choke, but she points out that he doesn't actually know where Alice is, and he still needs her. They're working together to get the wishes and to get rid of Alice, and they immediately establish what I would say is a pretty trustworthy dynamic there. I, too, try to murder my buddies on sight. Jafar just flies off on his magic carpet, goes back to his own palace. We also meet the Tweedles in this scene, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They're also known as Tweedle1 and Tweedle2, but I find that a little bit mean to call them. So we'll call them Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They're just the Red Queen's, like, most trusted servants. No, I don't know why their eye makeup is explicitly modeled after David Bowie. I can't explain that to you. Please don't ask me. Cyrus is alive. When the Red Queen threw him off that cliff over the boiling sea, Jafar caught him with the flying carpet and has held him prisoner in a little bird cage prison ever since. It's been a year for Alice. We really don't know how long it's been for Cyrus. I don't know the rate of exchange there, but he's alive! Alice, good news! Flashback! Oh, fucking course, this show also can't go 3 minutes without flashbacks. Cyrus and Alice meet cute, extended. How did those lovebirds even happen? Years ago, Jafar was hunting for Cyrus and found him by just looking for who in Agrabah had been unreasonably fortunate lately, because that's the easiest way to track down who's getting genie wishes. The very nice man he tracks down that's just had a lot of good luck lately uses his last wish to send Cyrus far away from Agrabah, and Jafar...
Do it.
Squishes that man until he stops breathing, because he's mad at him, and Cyrus is now teeny tiny and inside his genie bottle again, under the hedges of the maze, outside of the Red Queen's castle. And that's where he met Alice, if you remember. She was also teeny tiny and threatening the sanctity of his home. After they meet and she becomes his new master, he gives her the 3 wishes, the little gems, and calls her pretty. And she lets the White Rabbit out of the bag she has him trapped in. It's all great. She's not running home anymore. She has a genie to hang out with. Cyrus also tells her the things that wishes cannot do, okay? He can't kill anyone. He can't bring anyone back from the dead. He can't change the past. And he can't make anyone fall in love. And those last 3 things are just things that all magic can't do. Those are just the laws of magic. Not the killing one, though. That one's just a genie rule, which feels arbitrary. Wishes are dangerous, and big wishes usually come with big consequences. You have to be careful with the wording, and apparently, you also can't wish for the genie's freedom, which feels extra arbitrary. And they only put that in there because it would make the entire plot of this show not happen. If she could just do that. So yeah, thank you for making that clear, that we lost that get out of jail free card, but also, hey, that's the one thing I'm doing with my genie wishes when I get them. So what does Alice do? You know already, she simply never makes one of her 3 wishes, because that's the closest to freedom they can get him. Even though he literally magically cannot disobey her when she says Genie Master, and is bound to her. They really like each other, and they're both sweet and nice, and power over another other person doesn't corrupt, it turns out. So Alice is solid. Cyrus is the one to teach Alice how to fight with a sword. They flirt over origami. They talk about how they both want to see the world and experience it freely. Their first kiss is an extension of tension during a sword fighting lesson. They're just perfect. That's what you need to know about Alice and Cyrus and how to tell them. They're perfect. And Jafar and the Red Queen hate him really bad. To his credit, Cyrus is very hesitant to actually fall in love with this girl, because if she does make her wishes, he'll probably never see her again and just spend the rest of his immortal genie life feeling betrayed. And he knows being with him won't be easy for Alice either, because everyone wants their genie wishes. But they're so sickly sweet and happy with each other, and she is so resolute that they just go for it. They go for their happy ending, and they agree mutually to never move on from each other, no matter what. And they bury Cyrus's genie bottle together so no one else can ever get their hands on it, or on Cyrus, because if you have the genie bottle, you can use it to summon the genie to you. And they don't want anyone else to have that ability. Quite frankly, I don't think they even really want Alice to have that ability. And the White Rabbit sees them burying the genie bottle and has a like, oh, those crazy kids are really making it work moment. But here and now, in the present day, Cyrus is in a little bird cage suspended above an abyss, clutching his chest and whispering Alice's name because their hearts are intertwined. A concept that's never actually explained to me. It's not the thing that Snow White and Prince Charming did. I know that much for sure. But I also don't know what it actually is. And there's another man in a little cage here, an old man, whose identity's a big secret. And that one I'm not going to spoil for you right away. I just want you to know there's an old man. He's very worried about Cyrus. He's always asking about how Cyrus is doing and checking up on him. He cares very deeply about Cyrus's well-being. He tries to play chess with Cyrus to get his mind off things. He sort of adopts Cyrus in a way. But Cyrus does not want his mind off things. He wants to write secret messages on secret parchment in his magical, anti-magic silver cage that hurts him very badly. Because genies are werewolves, I guess. Not even iron. So they're like fayish, silver like werewolves. Fine. We're gonna leave Cyrus there for a second. We'll come back to the sad man and his secret notes in a bit. Let's bop back to team actually doing stuff with Alice and Will. Their plan is to go get Cyrus's genie bottle, make 3 nothing wishes, and forcibly summon him back that way, so at least he's safe and with them, which I do think is a smart plan. Alice makes some genuinely smart plans, especially at the start here. They leave the White Rabbit behind without telling him they're leaving,
splash.
which is a crazy thing to do to a friend. Alice is also going around telling everyone they meet where she's going and what she's going there for. She wants everyone to know she's going to
I think I kind of want to do the laser beam.
really loud about it. Will spends the entire first leg of their walk trying to bait Alice into an argument, like asking what she's going to do if Cyrus just moved on, or if things are different, or if she's considered that Cyrus hasn't tried to contact her for a reason. And she just yells at him that Will clearly could never understand what she and Cyrus have going on. And then they reach an ocean. And uh-oh, Will Scarlet can't swim.
$35 for 2 pizzas.
Don't overpay. Get Little Caesar's pizza deal instead.
Isn't it?
They're gonna have to take the ferry. And they do word it like that they have to take the ferry, because they want you to think they're talking about a big boat. They are not. They mean F-A-I-R-Y, ferry, a woman with wings, who will carry them across the ocean. And not just any ferry, they are met with Silver Mist, Silver Mist Pixie Hollow, Tinkerbell's water fairy best friend. From my collection of Pixie Hollow chapter books I had as a child, and the online video game Pixie Hollow, Silver Mist. Why is she in Wonderland? Because Tinkerbell lived in the Enchanted Forest. She's from the Enchanted Forest until she ran off to Neverland somehow. I don't think we ever really found out how Tinkerbell got there. But I don't think fairies are native to this plane. Why is Silver Mist in Wonderland? Also, they want me to believe that Silver Mist is romantically interested in men and has been previously scorned by one Will Scarlet. I don't believe that. It's better than, like, Vidya, Pixie Hollow, being romantically interested in men, but I still don't believe it. Apparently, she caught feelings and he just wanted something physical and eventually, like, snuck off in the night and ghosted her. Very cool, Will. Silver Mist Pixie Hollow slaps Will a couple times and then insists she's a professional. And Fairy Dust told them to carry them across the ocean until Will Scarlet makes a comment that he likes the flying bit, but that he also enjoyed her other bits. And she drops him into the sea. As she should. Why would he say that? Unprompted. Unprompted. Alice follows Will willingly into the water, saves his ass, and pulls them both onto a rock, where Will continues to be weirdly crass about his past relationship with Silver Mist Pixie Hollow. Talks about how it's easy to choose to not be in love. He claims that he doesn't even actually really care about Alice, that he's just here to get his wish. He's a liar, for what it's worth. It's actually hilarious how big of a liar he is. Once you know all his secrets later, so you can hold on to that one if you want. Anyway, the rock that they're on turns out to be a big turtle, and Alice threatens it with violence until it swims them where they want to go. Love a woman who's unafraid to make real threats that she does intend to follow through on. Once they get to the other side, Silver Mist shows up again. They say she's glad Will is still alive because she just found out about the massive bounty on his head and she wants to collect it. Will tries to apologize to her, or to get her to at least care about what happens to Alice, because Alice is a good person even if he's a bastard that doesn't feel any feelings anymore. Silver Mist says his Anastasia used his heart out, but does agree to let them go free. For Alice's sake. Will refuses to comment on this Anastasia character, no matter how nice Alice asks. Now, on the other side of Wonderland, the Red Queen and Jafar are also up to shit, of course. Jafar waltzes into the Red Queen's throne room and freezes all her pleading subjects in place. And they talk about how bad they want to have and what their evil plans are. The Red Queen wants Jafar to succeed in what he's doing, because she wants him to break all the laws of magic for her so they can bypass things like morals and laws. But we don't know exactly what she wants all that for yet, or him for that matter. When the Red Queen tells Jafar she can't just stop being the queen to pursue his genie mission for him, he just insta-murders all her subjects that he had frozen. It's such a power move. You're only a queen because I'm allowing you to have living subjects sort of move. That goes hard. Shortly after that, we are treated to so much close-up footage of the Red Queen getting her feet washed. It's just so much more than you think they would casually put in there. It's not plot relevant either. It's just the thing that's happening when the White Rabbit comes in to chat with her. He tells her where the genie bottle is, because the White Rabbit is a coward and a traitor. Jafar finds her gardening, freezes her in place, tells her to stop talking back to him, that they're not equals, they're not partners, they're not friends, and demands the genie bottle's location. So she tells him, and he's off to some fucking tree with an army of scarabs to dig it up for him. Alice and Will watch Jafar do this, and Will earnestly apologizes that they're too late and their plan didn't work, but actually, secretly, this was the plan. The genie bottle is not here. It's not where Alice has been telling everyone they're going, because she's no fucking stupid. She wanted to know who was after them, and she was trying to intentionally draw them to a specific point where she could see them. So now she knows Jafar is looking for Cyrus, or has Cyrus, or is otherwise somehow involved. Know thy enemy. Smart girl. But when Will and Alice go to the actual place where the bottle was buried, a random-ass field with a dandelion bush, a lion-shaped bush made of dandelions, it's gone.
The biggest sports, movies, and shows get all of ESPN, along with Disney Plus and Hulu.
Because the White Rabbit knew where it was, and the Red Queen just lied to Jafar. Get him. Get him! So now Jafar's yelling at Cyrus, who just barely finished sending a secret note folded into an origami bird off for Alice. Jafar is force-choking Cyrus. Cyrus is daring Jafar to kill him. And here comes the Red Queen, happily proclaiming that she has the genie bottle. She objectifies Cyrus for a minute and tells Jafar the new rule is he can't just be mean to her and expect her to be okay with it. Especially now that they each have half of the equation. He has the genie, she has the bottle. Also, when the White Rabbit is like, I did my job, can I please go now? And you can give me what you promised me for betraying my friends? She tells him no, because she hasn't seen her evil plan come to fruition yet. But we don't know what she has the White Rabbit wants, and we still don't even really know what it is that she wants. Jafar doesn't suffocate Cyrus either. The genie is fine. Will and Alice have a heart-to-heart. He apologizes for trying to fight with her for no reason about love, because while he insists he does know things about love, he doesn't know about her and Cyrus. Not really. And he knows Cyrus won't have moved on, because that's not what you do when you really love someone. And Alice responds by saying her father moved on from her, but doesn't get a chance to elaborate before an origami bird swoops in. Cyrus's note to Alice is a poetic, flowery thing, begging her to go home and be safe, to leave him here so that she might still live. The best gift she could give to him is not hunting him down and gaining him his freedom. It is keeping herself safe and alive. She simply flips the paper over, writes, "I'm coming for you," on the back of it, and sends it towards him. That's my girl. And this is finally the point of the show where they tell you the name of Hearts is Will Scarlet. You get this far before they're like, by the way, his name's Will. His name's not Nave. It's William. And we get some of his backstory. Yay, backstory. It's just labeled a few years ago in the Enchanted Forest. As though I've ever asked for an idea of how many years ago something was. Don't tease me with a few. Also, this is pre-Dark Curse. He lived Dark Cursed for 28 years. A few? Little John and some other merry men pretend they need help on the side of the road to distract a carriage of wealthy men, while another merry man lowers from a tree to steal from the carriage from above, and they all celebrate their score around a fire. And you know who's here? Robin Hood. My man, my man, my man. So I guess technically there's two characters from the original show that have plot-relevant roles. I don't even know if I count Robin Hood being plot-relevant here. Kind of. And that merry man that lowered from a tree, that's Will Scarlet in actual fairy tale land clothes. Finally. He looks great in them. He really does. And he's officially, in this flashback, a part of the merry men. They make him bleed into a fire and hear a little sanctimonious Robin Hood speech and everything. Robin Hood wants to move the group to a new location, but Will wants to sweep through Maleficent's castle on the Forbidden Mountain. His plan, that he presents to Robin Hood, is to avoid all the magical items, don't touch anything cursed or dangerous, but go for her gold stash. She doesn't care about it anyway, and the sorcerer's not even home. Will's got everything planned out. They just need to execute it. Also, Will loves stealing. He absolutely adores stealing. But what does he love more? His girl back home, baby. He's actually only pretending to be a merry man so he can get him and his girl what they need to escape the Enchanted Forest and start a new life all together. So, does Will only go for the gold in Maleficent's castle? Of course he doesn't. The other merry men do. They're on target, they're on task. Will, on the other hand, grabs himself a special little looking glass. And when the merry men celebrate this score around a campfire, Maleficent speaks to them through the sky and the trees, demanding they return the non-gold loot that they took, because that item will only bring them misery. And Robin Hood is furious that someone disobeyed the mission, but no one's fessing up to it. Instead, Will just leaves the merry men in the middle of the night, and Robin catches him in the attempt, but does not punish him, yell at him, just tells him that he will meet whatever fate he's earned. Will scorns Robin Hood's code and makes it very clear that he thinks Robin Hood is kind of a pretentious asshole who doesn't think of himself as a thief, even though he's clearly a thief. And then he just goes. And Robin Hood lets him. Great, he was a merry man in the past. Let's go back to our present day nonsense. Alice and Will talk about Will's extensive list of crimes on his wanted posters while they're on a crazy CG road that I honestly wouldn't hate. I wouldn't hate this road if we didn't spend so much time in the show in regular forest. There are two modes, okay? It's regular forest, sometimes with big prop mushrooms in it, or this crazy looking road. That's it. Neither of those read very Wonderland to me.
I used to struggle with danger, but now I use Head and Shoulders every wash. Because the active ingredient in it.
Gonna be honest with you. There's the Red Queen's cool castle, there's a couple of villages, there's Jafar's palace. But the main traveling places, neither of which feel like the place we're supposed to be in. And it bothers me. Alice is very upset that they didn't get to the place where the bottle was actually stored a little bit sooner so they could at least see who took it. And Will remembers a magical item called the Forget-Me-Not. Not spelled K-N-O-T, like a knot, that allows you to look through it and into the past. And if they get it, they could just look through it and see who it was that took their bottle. Issue, the Forget-Me-Not is currently with the Caterpillar. Will is trying to very much act like this is not an issue, even though the Caterpillar is the one offering the bounty on his head. He's just gonna walk in there and make a deal with the man, but the Caterpillar. Alice does get him to at least agree to let her come with if he's on this terribly ill-advised mission. Look at the way the mushroom house prop shakes when Will opens the door, by the way. That thing is made out of balsa wood and dreams. They didn't even paint it to cover the wood grain of whatever it was they actually used. Why does it wobble like that? Once Upon a Time usually has their prop department on lock. They're now in the Underland, where the Caterpillar is in charge. It looks like a halfway outdoor bar, and that's like it. And the people are immediately mad at Will for existing in front of them.
Nazim, pleasure to see you again.
Don't pleasure me.
Dream of it.
Alice starts threatening the crowd with swords, and now the crowd is threatening Alice and Will with swords, and then the Caterpillar interrupts from his little gazebo that he's sitting in, and he's also so terrible to look at. I haven't really gotten into it, but his teeny tiny head and his little fez are really upsetting, and honestly his little pinchy hands are also pretty bad. The Caterpillar does not have the knot, and Will strikes a deal with them. If Will and Alice get the Forget-Me-Not and return it to him, the Caterpillar will erase all of Will's debts. They just have to get it from the Grendel, a monster who lives in the Whispering Woods. Also, if Will fails, the Caterpillar is going to behead Will. Keep his head on his desk forever, which, if you'll recall, is not something that kills you in Wonderland. You're a sentient head. Your body lives. Now Alice and Will are looking for the Grendel. They argue about morals in the woods until they find his house. Alice wants to go in swords blazing, but Will convinces her to...
Somebody's home.